Welcome, everybody, to the HubSpot user group event. This is part of our webinar series from SEO to AEO, how to build a scalable AI content engine for loop marketing. Thank you for connecting today. Put yourselves on mute. Tell us who you are, where you're connecting from, and your position and company. And we are going to be more than happy to answer all your questions throughout the presentation. In the chat, introduce yourselves. If you don't know who I am, I know a lot of you have connected with these already. Here's all my information, my LinkedIn, my email, our website. Let us know if we can help in any way. We are Nextiny. We are a HubSpot solution partner that has been a HubSpot partner for more than 13 years, in business for more than 25 years. And we specialize in everything HubSpot, websites in HubSpot, marketing and sales solutions, answer and engine optimization, SEO, and more. We have a guide that you can download that will give you a lot more in-depth help with answer engine optimization and your transition from SEO to AEO. A lot of this stuff we're going to review today. And we are also offering a special SEO AEO audit package for these events. I won't bore you anymore with my stuff, but if you want to watch any of the other recordings from this series, you can watch them in this link. And we have another event coming up next in a couple of weeks, which is how to run your own AEO audit. And I just shared the link. So that's all the housekeeping items right there. 2 minutes. I think I'm getting better. Daryl, am I getting better at this or not? Yes, thank you, Daryl. Good stuff. It's good to have some friends here that always agree with you. All right, everybody, let's get this party started. How AI is redefining client acquisition. I always start with this to make sure everybody's on the same page. I'll try to do it as quickly as possible, but then we'll get right into foundation, who you are, what you say, how is this important for AI, visibility and answer engine optimization, creating and capturing content, the engine and how it starts with video. We'll talk about repurposing, how to multiply with AI tools, and distributing, how to control the narrative throughout multiple channels. And then we'll talk about feedback and how to learn and grow over time through scaling. So first of all, just so everybody's on the same page, AI has changed a lot of things. Search isn't links anymore. Everybody's searching for answers, not only on AI models like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude, but also on Google. Google is an AI engine now, and there's also Google AI and Google Overviews and Gemini, which is part of Google. So SEO is not dead. SEO is evolving. So the question is, how do we stay visible in an answer-first world? There's some bad news and some good news. The bad news is that 60% of people don't end up on your website. 0 clicks from Google. 70% of people, B2B buyers, complete their journey without your sales team. So this is not new. This has been happening for a long time. So AI is becoming your new homepage. But the good news is, first of all, Google is still 210 times bigger than ChatGPT in search. And I'm going to share the case study from Search Engine Land right here. So that's the first good news. The second good news is when people use AI, if they end up on your website, you have a higher probability of closing them into a client. We have seen this over and over again. You can see this is a HubSpot a screenshot that we took from a portal that had, in the same amount of time, 4,000 visits from Google, 42 leads, 1 client. And at the same time, 90 visits from AI models, 2 leads, 1 client. The same amount of client, a lot less work, a lot less leads. Salespeople love this. More is not always better. More qualified is always better. So AI is qualifying your leads before they get to you. Yes, it's a problem because you don't control the narrative, you don't control the messaging, you don't control the process in a lot of ways, but you can do a lot of things. Now, also, AI did not just shift the way people find you. Discovery is huge. Yes, people are going to be finding solutions in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all these different models, but also the whole buyer's journey has changed. People are trying to understand their problems. They're trying to learn the possible solutions. They're trying to compare vendors, evaluate trade-offs. All of this is happening on AI on a continuous conversation without you. So how do you become part of that conversation? At the same time, there's an AI content trap. Everybody's creating more content with AI. So AI is not only making changes on the way people find you and also on the way people decide before they sign a contract, but AI gave you a tool that you can use every day to create 100 blogs right now. And what people are not talking about that is that creates AI content generated from old content that then creates AI content generated from old AI generated content, which then in turn creates AI content generated from old AI generated content generated from old AI generated content. And yes, I said all of that right. So the question is this valuable content for your audience? Is this the type of content that AI is going to take and use it as a citation? Is this the content that's going to be cited as the answer of the truth on AI and Google? Or is this the same regurgitation of the same thing over and over again? One thing is to use AI as a tool to write better, to edit better, to take your content, to take your ideas, your opinions, your expertise, your experience with real humans and humans helping humans, and use AI to multiply and amplify. And the other thing is to say, create me 200 blogs about this topic. And don't just take my word. There's actually a case study from Search Engine Land about how they tested this. They created thousands of articles, they posted them on a website, and the website started growing incredibly. And then after a while, poof, they destroyed the traffic. Google ranking went down, it disappeared from everywhere, and the traffic disappeared over the period of months because AI is not looking for quantity of content. Yes, it looks for the latest valuable content. So continuously posting is important, and I'll show you why in a second, but not quantity. It's looking for clear answers, unique perspectives, consistent signals, trusted sources. So you should not be creating generic, bland articles or having errors or hallucinations on your articles because AI generated it completely, or creating poor structure or low clarity, quantity over quality content. That is the trap that you're trying to get out of. Now, the second thing important about this is that if you don't create continuous content, then they ask you to post something else. This is a good example. We run audits on a lot of our clients and new clients. We're doing AEO audits for them. And one of the things we do is we ask all the different models about the company, multiple questions, and we see where the content is coming from. Where's the source? So we can understand where are the gaps of things that are not being said and where are those pieces of information coming from. And this is a great example. It was a video on YouTube from a webinar the company ran 11 years ago. I'm going to keep repeating this. I put this slide on every single one of my presentations because if you don't control the narrative, someone else will. In this case, at least it was a piece of content they created 11 years ago. In a lot of cases, it's your competitors or a bad review, or someone went to a website and said trash about the company, and then that becomes the answer on AI. So how do you create the content without, again, copy pasting from AI and create an engine, which is why we're here today, so you can create content on a regular basis, but making it human, valuable, and something that AI will take so you can control the narrative as much as possible. So a lot of people ask me, okay, but how do we know this? How do we know it answers? How do we know we need to have things in multiple websites? How do we know that the type of content that AI is taking? One of the things we know about AI is that when you ask something, it creates sub-queries, sub-questions of that one thing you ask, and then goes to all the content that it has, and it tries to find the most relevant content for each one of those things. So a good example, I heard this story the other day. If you say, I want to run a marathon in November in New York City, what do I need? AI is not just going to say, what do I need to run a marathon in November in New York City? It's going to say how to run a marathon. It's going to say what things I need to run a marathon, what shoes should I, how to train for running for, 4 hours. What's the weather in November in New York City? These are sub questions, and you can see it in the answers. When you go to Google, when you go to Perplexity is one of the best places to see it. You can see all the sources one after the other one. You can see it in the answers. You see little chunks of information and the source right next to it. Those are the sub-queries. Those are the chunks of information that we're taking out of these sources to build the answer to your main question by asking a lot of different answers, which means you have to create multiple places where this content comes from, because what you'll see is that the sources, the more you analyze this, are social media articles, Reddit posts, a blog, a little chunk from a blog, and then a conversation in a community website. So what AI is trying to do is try to find consensus among all these places, which means we need to create a multi-channel content marketing strategy, an engine loop that actually creates content on a regular basis, makes it as human as possible, so it's not regurgitation of old content that was created from AI content that was created from old content, but also it's multi-channel. So the question is, how are we going to do all of this? If it was hard to do just blogs before, what are we going to do now? If we can't use AI to generate all of our content, how can we create something that's repeatable, that's scalable, that actually help us create human-based content? First of all, it needs to be on your website. It needs to be on your blogs. It needs to be on your videos. It needs to be on webinars. It needs to be on social media. It needs to be on reviews. It needs to be on forums. So all of this needs to happen. So answer engine optimization is visibility plus trust plus consistency across the internet. So in September, HubSpot presented the Loop marketing framework. And the Loop works incredibly for this because you need to express yourself. You need to tailor the content to your audience. Then you amplify it, which means you post it all over the internet in different multi-channels. And then you evolve by understanding what's working, what's not. And this model works very well. And I'll talk about each one of these aspects as we talk about the different things. So any questions so far? I see Daryl said, a recent Google search brought up GEO. I couldn't tell the nuances. There's no nuances. It's the same thing. Some people call it AEO, answer engine optimization, which is the term that is becoming the new standard. Because instead of search engine optimization, you're not optimizing for search. You're optimizing for answers on all models. Now, GEO is generative AI optimization. Then some people call it AI SEO. Some people call it AIO. Like there's a lot of different ones, and you'll find 100 million blogs that are regurgitations of articles saying, what's the difference between SEO and AEO? And yes, we have one of those where we talked about there are some differences between the different aspects, but at the end of the day, you're optimizing your content strategy, your website, your social media strategy, and in your messaging in general. So AI and Google can pick up your content and turn it into the answer. So at the end of the day, it's answer engine optimization. That's some people will say, that's just SEO. Well, it's not necessarily just SEO because there's nuances to AI. That's why there's a new name. Great question, Daryl. So why this fails in most cases? I wanted to start with this because we're always super positive about, what we can do and how we can control the narrative, but then people have problems, right? Like why do people fail when they're trying to implement these things? The problem is not content. Anybody can create a bunch of fake content in 2 seconds. The quantity of content, images, videos, text, anything. You can create a podcast from just a prompt. You can say, create a podcast idea, and then it creates the voiceover, and then it's a fake podcast about nothing that you know. So the question is, do you have a clear ICP, ideal client profile, like the old buyer personas? Do you know who your audience is at the end of the day? Who is your audience, right? In my case, my audience is business owners that are trying to understand the shift from SEO to AEO. My ideal client profiles are, people, companies in specific industries that that use HubSpot, for example. That's one of my ICP. Franchises, medtech, healthcare, things like that. Know who your audience is. In my case, a lot of it is AEO and HubSpot, right? But it could be related to entities like that, like a software and a methodology or a service. But it could also be an industry. It could also be the size of a company. So make sure you understand who your audience is and where they are, right? Like what should be the messaging to those. Then there's no consistency. People post a blog here, a social post there, another blog here. They do a podcast episode here. They put a video on YouTube. No consistency. There's no structure repurposing of the content. So they're not taking content, turning into multiple different things and structuring it as much as possible. There's no distribution strategy, and there's too much reliance on AI. They're creating AI-generated content that is not valuable, that is not going to be considered you and your differentiator. So how do we do this, right? Let's talk about that. And as you can see, I'm going to be marking which part of the loop marketing methodology we are on. So we're on Express. This is the foundation. This is who we are. What do we say? So start with clarity. Who you serve, what problems you solve, what makes you different, what questions your buyers ask. If you don't define this, AI will find it and define it for you from somewhere else. And I always talk about entities, right? What are entities? Before we were thinking a lot about keywords. Now we talk about entities. The difference is Apple is a keyword. Entities would be Apple the company versus Apple the fruit. There's a lot of context attached to these two different apples, right? So Nextiny Marketing is the name of my company. Gabriel Marguglio is my name, the person, the CEO, the person that gives the webinar. We do marketing services. That's an entity. We do these services. Specifically, we do AEO. We do SEO. We do video production. So one of the questions that our ideal clients ask is, how can webinars help with AEO? This is a good question. How do you optimize for all of this? First of all, is understanding who your ideal clients are, what they're asking, and how do you need to connect these entities for them. And then the other thing you need to understand is your best content already exists in your organization. It's not in ChatGPT. It's in your sales conversations, in your customer questions, in your objections from sales meetings, real examples from your clients, your team expertise. Go talk to your team. Ask your sales team, what are they hearing every day? Ask your customer service team, what are the top questions? If you're doing this right, if you're using HubSpot as a CRM and your sales team is in HubSpot and your customer service team is in HubSpot, there are even easier ways to do it. You can actually use Breeze, and you can go on Breeze, which is the AI co-pilot assistant inside HubSpot. You can ask Breeze, tell me what questions are people asking in sales meetings. Tell me from clients that we've closed, from their transcripts, what are their objections? What are our salespeople having to answer all the time to make sure they close as clients? Bring up some gaps in content that we should be creating. So yes, all your content is already there, but then if you use HubSpot as your CRM, and your customer service team and your tickets are in there and your knowledge base is in there and your sales teams are using HubSpot to track everything, it's getting easier and easier to find what your ideal clients. You don't just need to guess. A lot of our clients started, you ask them, what questions do people ask? And they start saying, well, they ask about our price, and they start guessing. And I'm like, no, I want real examples from real salespeople having real conversations with real potential clients. Tell me what are the objections. Tell me what are the questions. Let's watch some of those recordings. Send me the recordings, and I'll tell you exactly what the questions are. Just throw it on ChatGPT or HubSpot Breeze and say, what are the questions that the person asked that were important for this conversation to turn it into a sell? Like, you can do this today and get real questions. So then you can create content that actually is valuable and that helps people move through that funnel. Does that make sense? Any questions, guys? Put in the chat, and I'll keep answering as we go. All right, so let's talk about creating and capturing. This is where the engine starts, and this is where Taylor, the Taylor stage of the loop marketing methodology is. So we start the engine with video because it does multiple things at the same time. If you start with video, and webinars are my favorite, but you can do video podcasts, or you can do video series, or you can do webinars. This is the most authentic format. It captures real expertise. It generates natural language. It builds trust because it's you. It's really you talking to humans. They're asking questions and you're answering. AI loves that because that's what AI is trying to do. It's trying to answer humans' questions, and they want a human answer. They don't want another AI answer. So that means you're creating original insights constantly. You're creating real examples. You can, take sales conversations out of this and customer questions, all of this on video. And again, webinars are the perfect example for this. So the best content is what your team is already doing, what your team already knows. And this is a good example of this. You can build consistency and create, 2 webinars a month, 30 to 45 minutes each, focus on real buyer questions. And this becomes your content factory. It's the fuel of the whole loop. And one webinar could turn this into 2 to 3 blog articles, 10 to 20 social posts, 5 to 10 short video clips, FAQ sections for your pages and your product pages and your blogs, email content for sending sales emails or marketing emails for your newsletter, so bring more people into, and then sales enablement assets so your team can actually use them to close more business. One input, multiple outputs, which allows us to create a multi-channel strategy without having to do so much work. And the reason why is because the video and the transcript fuels all these aspects. So at the end of the day, from video, you get real language, clear explanations, natural questions. All of this creates authenticity, which is amazing for AI visibility and the right signals that AI is constantly looking for. They want human connection. They want authenticity. They want trust. And that can only get from video attached to real content, answering real questions. Humans helping humans. I have a question from Daryl. From the multi-channel approach, how do you determine the optimal amount of channels to focus on before spreading your self-thing? I'm going to say start with 1 or 2 and see what works, what doesn't. LinkedIn, for most businesses, LinkedIn is going to be one of the big ones. And I'm going to tell you, LinkedIn and Reddit are 2 places where AI is taking the answers a lot from. They're using those as citations for the answer. So if you're going to start with one, start with LinkedIn. If you're going to add another one, add Reddit. And then test those things. See what's working, what's not working. We'll talk about at the end on how to test. But definitely start with 1 or 2. Don't go 13 different sources. Of course, if you're doing video, you're going to put your video on your website. You're going to create a blog, and you're going to put that video on YouTube. So you already have 3 places right here, plus LinkedIn, plus Reddit. That's a multi-channel strategy right there. You don't need to go and post it on Twitter or whatever, X or Facebook. Who is in Facebook? Is your audience on Facebook? Is AI quoting Facebook? Most of the time, it doesn't, right? So that's why we start in those places, Daryl. Good stuff. So great question. Thank you. So repurposing multiplies the content you created from a webinar. So if you create 1 webinar every 2 weeks, every month, then you can amplify these efforts. And that's the amplify stage of the loop marketing methodology. How do you do this? Well, you can repurpose for broader AI visibility, which is what we were just talking about. You can create a blog from that transcript. You literally put that transcript into a blog. You can create clips for social, podcast episodes, all these things just from one asset. You have the video, you have the transcript, and you have the slides. All of that is enough to create 20 to 30 different assets. You can use the slides as pictures for social, clips of the video as pictures for social, the transcript to create a blog, the transcript, the video, and the slides to create social posts from multiple sources. You can take questions out of the transcript and turn them into FAQs. This is golden, guys. Like one webinar turns into multiple pieces of content, and you can amplify everything you do without having to do one by one separate assets. This is how we do it. We do it by amplifying from one source and using AI to do it quickly. So repurposing is not enough. You need a structure, right? So when you're creating a blog, make sure you create the right structure. So you can tell AI, I want you to optimize this for SEO, for answer engine optimization, AEO, but I also want you to optimize it for humans. Don't just create a blog that sounds like everything else, that sounds like your regurgitation. Title, a TLDR means, 60 to 80 words that answer the question of why are you creating this blog? The title of the blog should be the question. The first 100 words should be the answer to that question. Put that answer on the meta description of the blog. The meta description should be the answer of that question. Then create a structure which every section of the blog is a question and an answer in and of itself. And at the end, add an FAQ with questions and answer. Make it conversational. Don't, again, unless you're a university and you need to write papers, or you're engineers and you need to write, paper quality blog articles. Your articles should be conversational, should be Q&A driven, and it should be also human driven. It shouldn't be a pain to read your articles. If you put 100 bullets, then it's harder. There should be some kind of flow. Add some images so it's easier for people to read. Make it skimmable with the H2 titles. Give this structure. And then use schema on the back end. We have a whole article about schema that I can share with you guys later that allows you to not only post the blog with all the content that you need, but also make sure that the content is, I'm going to say schema, HubSpot, Nextiny. So make sure the post is, there you go. I'm going to copy this link for you guys. I'll put that later, but make sure the blog is not only optimized on the structure, but also the schemas in the background. And I'll share the link in a second. Now, how do you do this? You can use this prompt. This prompt allows you to do exactly that. If you go and you copy paste this prompt, you provide the transcript for the video, and you provide the slides, and you provide 2 or 3 examples of blogs you've written before. So AI can actually take the voice and the messaging and the way you write. Then this prompt allows you to turn any webinar into a blog article that's going to work, and that's going to have all the information that you need because it's optimized for humans, SEO, and AEO. Here's the article for the schema optimization if you want to check that out. Daryl said the magic of content launch funnel is that you don't have to create new content. You can repurpose what you already have. Yes, I'm not the first one to talk about this. We used to repurpose blogs. We used to combine old blogs into new ones. When you create webinars, just do a webinar every month. That's your content strategy right there. Just don't create a webinar that nobody wants to watch. Don't create a webinar that's not connected to your ideal clients, that's not answering your ideal clients' questions, that's not addressing, the pain, the solution, and why you are an authority on that solution. Make sure you address all those things. Thanks for sharing, Russell. Thanks for sharing, Daryl, not Russell. I thought Russell was here too. So Then you turn that blog and you create social posts. So how do you do this? Well, again, with ChatGPT, with Breeze, with Perplexity, you say, I want to create LinkedIn posts from this webinar using this blog. Now you have a whole blog that you posted. And here's my video clip that I'm going to use. So create a specific post about this, and it should be a question and an answer. Because again, you want AI to pick up very easily what the question is and what the answer is right away, and then expand on it. And then on the comments, share the post, share the blog again, share the webinar recording, tell people to subscribe to the next one. What's great about this is when you create this consistency and you do this regularly, then you get more people to subscribe. I think 163 people register for this webinar. That's not happening out of nowhere. It's happening because people have been watching these series for 6-7 months now. So that compounds the amount of people that you reach with these webinars, right? You can use amazing tools like HubSpot Content Remix. HubSpot put this, it's a beautiful tool. You just have either a video, or you can add a video and add a blog article and then PDFs. And then from that content, you say repurpose, you say remix, and you can say, I want 2 social posts, I want a blog, I want clips, I want audio files. And then HubSpot goes and creates all these assets automatically from that using AI. So this is how you do this at scale. You don't have to create everything one by one, writing, thinking, doing all these things. You create one asset and then you use AI to multiply. We are doing this on a regular basis for our clients to help them use more and more the content that they create. And we're trying to empower our clients as much as possible to run webinars, to do more video, because this is the best fuel for these processes. Wistia has another tool also called Remix that allows you to, with prompts, create more complex videos. You can not only take social clips very easily, and it does it automatically, but also you create a highlight reel. You can create a key points video. You say key points, and it literally creates a video with a voiceover, with the main points of the video. You literally throw in your webinar and say, create a highlight reel, and it tells you, hey, Gabriel ran this webinar the other day, and these are the main points. Point number 1, AI is changing client acquisition. And then a little clip of me talking about it. And then another point, another clip. It's editing the video with just a prompt on AI. So this is AI tools inside our software, inside HubSpot, inside Wistia, that allow you to create faster, that allow you to multiply more your content. And again, Wistia is an amazing tool, but it also integrates beautifully into HubSpot. So you can get all that data connected into HubSpot on who's watching the video. You can run webinars. You can do a lot of things with Wistia. So any questions so far, guys? And I share that schema article that we wrote from one of these sessions. So let's talk about distributing, right? So how do you distributing to control the narrative? How do you distribute to control the narrative on AI? And this is the Amplify. We're still in Amplify. So we're talking about the content engine loop. This is what I've been talking about. Running webinars, running clips from it, creating blogs, creating podcasts, emails, all of this, and then running it again. So at the end of the day, a video turns into a transcript, turns into a blog, turns into social, turns into emails, more mentions, more context, stronger AI signals. And the reason why this works is because it started with human content, not with yet another AI written content that nobody wants to read. It's your expertise. Make sure that comes through. If you have an old PDF and you just run it through it and there's nothing valuable, the fuel will be weak. Therefore, everything else will be weak signals, not strong signals to AI. You're trying to get AI, and of course people and Google, to trust you, to think that you are the answer. Your company, your products, your services are the answer to their pain. and you have a solution to that pain. But not only you have a solution that you came up with yesterday, but also you've been doing this for a long time. People trust you. You have reviews, you have testimonials. If you don't, start building those too. Those are also signals of your reality, of how your company actually helps other humans with whatever their problem is. So authority compounds, and every piece of it feeds the next, right? And just to show you some examples, you can see, and this is what I was talking about, sources. The multi-channel strategy on the left, you're seeing how for some search results, and this is Google, so you can see the sources. We have Reddit posts, a Reddit video, a YouTube video, and our website as you're taking over the homepage of Google. And that's the reason why this works, because all those sources are pointing to the same thing. You can see the same thing when you're going to Perplexity, because it's beautiful. You can actually go and click on sources and it tells you which are the sources. And you can see a lot of different sources from efforts that we have put together used as the answer on AI. Same thing on AI overviews. In this answer, the answer is using my YouTube video and a LinkedIn post that I posted as the source. This is, again, reinforcing the multi-channel real content you need to create. More examples of the source being LinkedIn posts, Reddit posts, community articles and forum. And people say, well, but I don't have 1 million people that follow me on social media. What do? You don't need it. I don't have 1 million people that follow me on social media. And this post specifically had 155 impressions. That's nothing. Okay. People talk about thousands of impressions and millions of comments. I think this had like 2 comments or something, like 6 people like it. Like you can see the number on the left. 6 people like it. 155 impressions. It became the answer on AI. Google picked it up as the answer. So it's not so much about being a viral sensation. It's more about writing the right content and the consensus you can get in a multi-channel strategy. Any questions about this? I know this is a lot, guys, and I'm going super fast. Can we have the video recording after the seminar? Yes, MA, for sure. We're gonna send the recap to everybody with the recording of the webinar for sure. Any other questions, guys? Can we see the recording? Yes, recording. Everybody wants the recording. Good stuff. I'm actually doing something right. If people want the recording, someone ask a question. Oh, Daryl, go ahead. Do you want to come off mute? Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was wondering about, it's kind of like owning your own page. I call it digital landscaping. So when people punch up your personal name, nothing else really populates except your name and the articles that you, and I was like, that's like digital landscaping.
That's funny. It's the digital landscape, but definitely digital landscaping is what you need to do. That's for sure. So I would say Google yourself, ChatGPT yourself, Google your company name, ChatGPT your company name. Ask all these questions, and whatever is not right, you need to create content about. Those are your gaps, right? So make sure those gaps are covered with the new content that you're gonna be creating. I have a couple of questions that were asked here separately in private. Help on campaigns. So how content loop and AI help on campaigns? Your campaigns are your loops. So before you were running long-term campaigns, 3 months, trying to understand. Now you're running faster loops. You're running a webinar, turning it into a blog, turning it into this. And since you're running it continuously, and I'll show this in a second, you get better over time. You track faster. You create faster. So campaigns are loops. It's the same thing, but you're running them faster because you have the power of AI and you're fueling it with the right content. So at the end of the day, those turn into your campaigns. You can call it one campaign, or you can call it, individual mini campaigns, and you can track both things separately. For example, our AEO campaign or SEO to AEO campaign is everything we're doing. All the webinars, the webinar series. We created a guide that you can download. We have a product you can buy. That's a campaign. This could be the campaign, but I'm running tiny loops that continue to make the campaign better and better and better. I hope I answered the question. There was another one recording. Yeah, perfect. All good. Any other questions, guys? Is it worth the effort to post on Google Business page? I used to do that. We used to do that a lot. You can still do it if it shows up on Google every once in a while. If you see it for your industry showing up as the answer on AI, yes. But I was obsessed with Google Plus. Google Plus was, oh my gosh, I loved it because it was like Google, the company that ranks us, created a social media, and you post it, it would show up on Google because Google wanted Google Plus to show up. Well, they killed it. Now you have to put it on the business profile. It's not, unless you're a super localized business. If you're a super localized business, it helps your local results and stuff like that. So yes, Steve, that would be the case. What if your company is not interested or willing to do webinars? Well, Dion, you don't have to run webinars. I'm telling you, the easiest way to do this is running webinars. Now, if you're not interested in running webinars, you can create these loops internally. You can record your CEO having a conversation. You can put an iPhone in front of your engineer, whatever your company is, and tell them, tell me everything about the product. You can go and interview all your salespeople and say, guys, and literally go on a meeting, go on Zoom on a meeting and tell them to tell you absolutely every question they get from every single one of their conversations. Record all your sales meetings, record all your customer service calls. All of that is the data you need to create the content. Now, as you can see, I told you 20 different things. Running webinars makes it easier. If you have someone in your organization that can do what I'm doing right now, running webinars twice a month, then you have too much content. I have to decide which blogs I write and which ones I don't have time to write. Or maybe the webinar wasn't as groundbreaking or changing the messaging or not differentiated enough to another blog. That's how good this is. So, Dion, of course, if you can't, or it makes no sense, or you're talking about something that the topic itself is not conducive to webinars, we're working with in one of the boot camps with a coffee company or a cigars company. Well, you're doing cigars. I don't know if webinars are the most exciting thing, but go have cigars with other people, shoot some videos, talk about cigars. That's not a webinar, but it's a video, and you make it into a series, turn it into a podcast, right? We had a client that used to run, Tech Tuesdays. It was the engineer just talking in front of the camera for 5 minutes about something technical about their product. That is enough. It doesn't have to be a full-on 1-hour webinar like this one. It could be whomever knows in the organization the real stuff that you do that is valuable for your ideal clients and your audience. If they can put it on some kind of format, record a voice memo with your phone, do a Zoom with one person, do an internal webinar to your clients, do an internal training to your employees. All of those things are valuable pieces of content you can use to fuel the loop. I don't know if that helps, but that is definitely the way I would do it. Webinars is the easiest way to do it, by the way. And it's getting easier to run webinars too. Let's talk about scaling, right? How do you get feedback and how do you learn what's working, what's not, so you can grow and you can make this better? And this is the evolve stage of the loop marketing methodology. So first of all, you have the AEO grader. The AEO grader, it's an awesome tool that allows you to actually grade your brand in your entities. I just share the link using a HubSpot tool that tells you how you're doing in different models: OpenAI, Perplexity, and Gemini. So that gives you entity clarity. It understands if you're covering enough, what gaps you have, trust signals. It compares the different models. This is amazing information, and you can do it for multiple different. You can run it multiple times for multiple entities. like your industry, which services you're talking about, which location, and you'll get more information to create content around those gaps. To use this to understand where you are. This is like a mini audit. We'll talk in our next session on how to run a full audit, like the ones we run when you pay us at Nextiny. But this is a mini audit for you for one entity, and then you can run it for multiple ones. So that's for sure something you should do. The second thing is, if you're using HubSpot, if you're paying for HubSpot, you're going to have the AEO strategy tool inside, which is the SEO, the AEO grader on steroids. You can run multiple entities, multiple industries. So it gives you a lot more detail. And in the near future, you can start tracking brand visibility, because at the end of the day, what you need to rank is not pages on Google anymore, right? You need to rank your brand. And how can you rank or understand how is this working on AI? Well, the metric is brand visibility. That's the metric you need to track. And you'll be able to track brand visibility and how it goes up or down, or how it compares to competitors inside HubSpot. Now you can start tracking which visits, leads, and clients you got from your website from sources like ChatGPT, Perplexity, AI models. So that's already a source in HubSpot, a referral source, which is AI referrals. Start doing that too. Start tracking that and understand. But then ask, go to ChatGPT, ask them, what do you know about this company? Are they legit? Do they know what they're doing about this specific problem? How do they solve my problem? This is my problem. How would they solve it? Are there better solutions? Are there better companies? This is what your competitors, this is what your clients are doing every day. So you do this so you understand what's missing, what are those gaps, what you need to create, so then you can control that narrative as much as possible. Any questions? Any other questions, guys? All right, put it in the chat. I'm going to share right here. I have an article about how to use HubSpot tools to do this, which is what I just talked about, is all the HubSpot AEO tools that I would recommend working with. So then you restart. You run the next webinar. So webinar series amplify results. A webinar series is much, much better than a one-off webinar, than a one-off podcast, than a one-off video. A series trains your guidance to return. I have so many people here that came to the last one, that came to the bootcamp. Like, that happens organically. You don't have to force it. It creates multiple AI citations opportunities. It keeps expanding. And if AI sees that you're constantly talking about the same thing, and you are the authority, you're constantly talking about this, whatever it is that you do, coffee, cigars, marketing, whatever it is that you do, if you are constantly helping people, if you are constantly a human having human conversations with other human, if you're a human helping humans on a regular basis, you will be the authority on that matter. You will become the citation over time for that specific question that's related to that. And then it generates more content you can repurpose over time to keep fueling the content loop. So the main theme about this is to use feedback and real questions to continuously improve your content engine loop. Things get better when I talk to you, you ask me questions, I go do research, I do tests, I bring back what I learned, I teach you again on the next one. You see how you're creating a feedback loop at the same time you're creating a content loop and an engine that creates content. This is a feedback loop that you can use to make everything better, to create better content, to create better webinars, to do it better next time, to run better prompts on AI, to amplify better, to create more content that engages at a regular basis, to answer more questions, to create better social posts that more people see valuable and have conversations about on a regular basis. So this is a feedback loop also that you can learn from. At the end of the day, the brands that win are the ones that stay human and use AI to create trust and repeat continuously the creation of content. And AI needs to understand, trust you and repeat what you're saying. What happens if you don't build a system? There was a question, what happens if you don't run webinars? You don't have to necessarily do it with webinars, but if you don't create a system, AI will define your brand. Competitors will become the default browse, answer. Your content will exist but not be used, and you'll keep creating but not compounding, right? And you have no idea how many people are like, but I did a lot of blogs and I'm not showing up. I thought that was it. Well, yeah, but your blogs are not a system. This is not getting better. This is the same thing over and over again. So content without a system is noise. It's just more noise. And trust me, that's going to just get worse. The same way you go to any social network and it's all fake news and AI generated stories and content that helps nobody. The same thing will happen with marketing. I was talking to my son the other day and he said, why would anybody use AI, something fake, for marketing, which is the one thing that you're trying to connect the human in a psychological way? And I was like, you know what? If you think about it that way, it makes sense, right? I don't want to know what AI knows. I want to know what you know. I want to know what you think. I want to know why you are better, why you can help me. That's what's important. Video is definitely a starting point. Video, I said it twice for some reason. Authority is built across channels, and repetition creates recognition, creates AI visibility. So that is it for today. Tell us 1 to 10, how did I do? How did we do? Please give us some feedback if there's anything we can do to make this better. I want to answer all your questions. And of course, I have some more resources for you. We have the next webinar coming up on the 22nd for how to run your own AEO audit. We have the AEO guide that you can download today for free. Thank you very much for all the 10s here. Really appreciate the feedback. I really, I love that you guys are getting something out of this, and that's our goal here. And here's our AEO SEO audit, which we have a special for you guys, a special price for people that come to our hugs. Any questions, guys? I'm going to stay here. We still have 8 minutes. I'm going to share my information again. If anybody wants to connect with me on LinkedIn or send me an email, more than happy to help. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. If you want to stay for a couple minutes, I'm here to help. How can I help you guys? Any questions? Raise your hand, put it on the chat, come off mute. Did you have something, Daryl?
Yes. So does loop marketing, does it loop video, does it replace A/B testing?
No, A/B testing is just part of what you do. Loop marketing doesn't replace anything. It doesn't even replace inbound marketing, which was the original HubSpot methodology. It's just another way to see all these marketing activities that you need to do anyway. So A/B testing is just part of any marketing aspect, right? And yes, you can run A/B testing for Loop, and you can send 2 different social posts in 2 different networks and see which one goes better. Or you can run 2 emails or 2 landing pages or 2 videos. Even for example, Wisty allows you to post 2 videos, and you randomly see one or the other one, and you can run an A/B test on which editing is the best. So A/B testing, it's ingrained in a lot of different marketing activities. But A/B testing needs quantity. A/B testing needs a certain amount of people so you can actually get real data. It's just like statistics. I'm not an expert in statistics or numbers or anything like that, but I know enough to tell you that if you have an A/B test and 100 people or like 20 people went to your website, that's not a big enough amount of data to make a decision that this one's better than the other one. If you have thousands, like if you are a website that gets, I don't know, 1,000 visits a day, then in a week, you got 7,000 people. That's a good A/B testing, sample. So sample size is important too. So keep that in mind. Does that make sense? Awesome. Session was great. I thought it would be more interactive to enable the attendees ask questions. Yes, I've been asking if you guys have questions. I may at every moment. You want to come off mute? You want to ask questions right now? I'm right here. And yes, the session is definitely interactive to ask questions. You can ask questions at any moment. If you wanted more like a one-on-one questions, yeah, we can do something after hours, or you can connect with me and I'll be more than happy to help. At last minute item before the meeting ends. Take away from the meeting. Love that you guys are so engaged. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a
And
question.
it may this yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, regarding the entity and keyword thing, I'm not quite sure about exactly what should we doing in order to create better content.
So what do you do? What do you guys do?
We do industrial security service, like a consulting.
Industrial security service. So industrial security services is one of your entities, is the name of your service, right? What's the name of your company?
KBS.
KBS is another entity, is the name of your company. Your
Okay.
name, Fabrizio, it's another entity. The keywords that you used to want to show up on Google, most of them are going to be entities because it's the name of something, maybe a methodology you use, a software that you use. All those things, a framework, are entities that are connected to your company. And it's not only important to mention them, and this is something that, for example, for blogs, a lot of people used to say, don't put the name of your company on a blog because it looks weird. You want people to just read the blog about whatever the topic is, and then they're already on your website, so they know that you're the company. No, now you want to connect the dots between this blog and your company. You want to name the company. You want to name the methodologies, the services, the products, because you want those entities to be connected with this piece of content. You want to do the same on social, the same on your video, the same on your transcript. So then when AI says, who is Gabriel Marguglio or who is Nextiny Marketing, they have all of those ways to connect the dots between this blog article, this social post, this answer on Reddit, and say, oh, this is a reputable company. They're not just creating content. They can easily connect the entities together. So it is like keyword research, very similar, but you need to make sure those entities are there. For example, adding some of those on the footer of your website is a very easy way to start connecting the dots between those entities, mentioning them on your content, answering questions about them as FAQs, great ways to connect entity connection for AI. Does that help, Fabrizio?
Yeah, a lot. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. You're welcome. Any other questions, guys? Anybody else? You want to come off mute? Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, go ahead. Steve.
We are a traffic safety education school, and we teach traffic safety to anybody, fleet drivers, young teenagers, old people, blind people. That's another story. And we have 20, 30 hours of online instruction, and we're trying to figure out, do we do podcasts, do we do webinars, or do we just take the online stuff that we've already created, produce that? Okay, all right, that's
Well,
kind of
you're
what
onto
I was.
something. You already have 20 hours of content.
Yeah.
Are those separated into like 15-minute videos or 30-minute videos? Is that already done?
The longest one is probably 15 or 20 minutes. The shortest one's 8 minutes.
Beautiful. You can create blog articles with those videos, from those videos using the transcript. You can literally put those videos on AI, get the transcript from that, use the transcript to create an article for each one of them, and post little pieces of it, because you actually want people to take the whole course. So you don't want to post the whole video. You don't want to post the 20 hours of video, but you choose individual pieces of the content as your clips that you can use on your blogs. You can literally teach people the same content for specific aspects that you would say are the ones that people ask the most. Those are your ideal clients' questions. And then those are your articles, and those same little videos could be used for social media, for Reddit, for answering questions. You can find places where people are asking these questions on social media. For example, Reddit is a perfect place for that, where they're saying, I'm about to take the test for this. What is the answer for this? Or how do I know if I need to do this or that? And you answer it with your article. So you already have a lot now. Can you run webinars? Yes. Can you run a podcast? Yes. But you already have a lot that you can use to get this going.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Any other questions, guys? And I know people need to go. Thank you for connecting. If you want to make sure you subscribe to the next one. If you want to connect with me, you got the information. And I'm going to put the next webinar information here again, April 22nd, how to run your own video, your own AEO audit using HubSpot tools. Thank you very much, Tiffany, for connecting. Thanks for the feedback. Anything else, guys? Anybody else has any question? There's 30 people here. So unless you're 30 bots, there's some humans here that may have some questions. So any other questions, guys? I can stay for a couple more minutes. Kike, any questions? Thank you for engaging again. Anything else, guys? All right. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Stay in touch. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll be posting the recording and sending everybody a recap of this. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Connect with me on LinkedIn or send me an email. I'll be more than happy to help, okay? Take it easy. Have a good one.